Hello, everyone. Depending on the time of the day, wherever you are, my name is Ozim Obasi Ibeziako. Professionally speaking, I'm a lawyer, and outside of law, I'm first of all a human being, a Christian, a wife, a mother, and a very adventurous person. If I were not a lawyer, you probably find me traveling the world, discovering cultures, meeting new people. And I love nature. You'll find me either in the seaside or in the greens. And I enjoy being a lawyer. I've always loved Winnie Mandela and Nelson Mandela, of course. But if I have to choose one of them, I'll choose Winnie. And reason being, I was a young kid in the days of apartheid, and I've always wondered what gave Winnie strength and what was her drive and what kept her pushing for the 27 years that Nelson was incarcerated. She was one person I wished I met when she was alive. I don't forget my humanity. I'm first of all a human being. I don't define myself by what I do. I'm a people person because human beings are your greatest assets. And I like keeping it simple. You know, say what you mean what you say, be authentic. Show up, be engaging. That's the way I would like to describe myself as somebody who's present, who is authentic, who is sincere, who's simple, and just enjoys being happy and being the brightness that other people would experience as well. Whatever you have to do, do it well. Have a sense of ownership in everything you do. Don't assume that some other person will do what you wished could be done. If something is not right, fix it. If you can't fix it, find people that would help you fix it. So one professional principle I live by is do it as it is yours with a great sense of ownership and do it well. Put in your best. Your best may not be good enough, but at least you've done your best. Confession time. To be honest, uh, how do I say that? I nibble a lot. I always have biscuits. I'm a sweet tooth. Scottish shortbread is my weak point, and I always have that somewhere. So before I grab a meal, I always reach for it, and maybe, yeah, Fanta had been kind of, everyone that knows me knows that I like Fanta, as trendy as it is. But for health reasons, I'm also cutting back, but shortbread, let's just leave it there. I love to read. Well, that sounds so much like a lawyer, but I mean, like when not fiction, but what I really love is just gazing at nature. I'm a nature's person. I want to be able to see the outdoors. So I try to find myself in an environment where is that I'm looking at the ocean or looking at trees. So you find me taking a walk, no gadgets. When I'm not working, I don't want to see the gadget because I think I'm addicted to my phone. So when I'm unwinding, I don't have my phones near me and I'm just reflecting on nature. Of course, being a lawyer, in the course of your training, you have the alternative dispute resolution also as part of your curriculum. And of course, the way it was presented, we all took to, most of us took to alternative dispute resolution because it's quicker and supposedly cheaper and helps parties have a win-win. So besides the school curriculum, of course, when I started practicing as a young lawyer, being in court, waiting for your turn to mention your matter, the whole litigation process just wasn't encouraging for a young lawyer because of the time. So you sought an easier way to have disputes settled. And when in the course of work, I had to also do trainings on mediation and arbitration. I took to them because for me it's simpler. Like I described myself earlier, I like just getting to the point. So I had that opportunity of thinking ADR, not just as a curriculum, but in the course of practice and in the course of working as an um, easier alternative to settling dispute in a win-win manner. Yeah. I've worked in a law firm and I'm working in house now. The difference I see in myself now is knowing what matters to my clients. And by my clients, I mean the companies I work for or the stakeholders that I manage. Parties just want the objectives met. And what I have seen working internally, maybe the external counsel would have the information you brief them, the things you tell them that have happened. While you as an in-house counsel, you have like an eagle's view of what is going on and the other nuances that the external counsel may not know, which you kind of help them fill in the gap. As a commercial in-house lawyer, I know that what may be at stake may just be pricing or may be delivery, warranty, whatever it is. But that doesn't mean that the parties want the project to stop while they fight. They don't want to fight. They want the issues addressed. So with that background, I try to understand what exactly is the issue. And it will really help when your clients are fighting, find out what exactly is the issue. When you know what the issue is, there is nothing that doesn't have a solution. And again, everything is all about compromise. Then you look what can you give to make the person whole, right? If somebody has suffered damages, for instance, or lost something because you're late on delivery, how do you make the person whole? Will liquidated damages, for instance, fix it? Or will reduction in price for the next delivery fix it? So you have to also think of commercial solutions to some of these disputes to keep the business going and also maintain the relationship. Depending on what the dispute is, I just did mention that it could just be a premier pricing, or even if it is not, assuming there's a dispute, find out what exactly is the issue and how the person wants to be made whole. And the way I've also looked at it, instead of, sorry, I know my external counsel will not like this. So instead of paying a lawyer $20,000 to go represent you in arbitration or even litigation, and probably what will make the client whole is $5,000 reduction in price. As a commercial counsel, I'd rather give you the $5,000 reduction in price. So everything comes back to what is an issue and what exactly do parties feel will make them whole. And everything is on a case-by-case basis, right? And if I were advising a party or representing a party that has done wrong, and rather than, there's nothing egoistic in the commercial world, and I hope nobody comes to the table saying, yes, I have to prove a point. No. And I also want to believe that as lawyers, the ethics of our profession we go by. So if in the course of your transaction, it is clear that something has gone wrong or there's a breach, always focus on how do I address that breach and what is the nature of the breach, right? In some instances, it may not be clear, like assuming something has gone wrong in a project and you're still doing your root cause analysis. And because of doing that, the report is not yet out as to establish who is wrong, who is right. You also need to make a call. Do I stop this project and until we resolve, or do we keep performing the part that is not in dispute, if possible? And where it is also established that, look, this went wrong and you are representing the party at fault, the honorable thing to do and the commercial thing to do is to see how to address that breach in a way that will make, even if you're not going to make the other party whole, to maintain that relationship for you to still sell again. Because if you keep quarreling with all your customers, who's going to buy your product, right? So those are the circumstances that would help us determine whether, okay, do we settle this? And if it is that there is no clarity as to who is right or wrong, or you're definitely sure that this fault is not my client, then of course on grounds of principle, you would want it to go through arbitration or any other dispute resolution method that you choose at that time. But the point is, what is at stake? Who is at fault? How can you be made whole? And what are the options available? To be honest, I don't know of any commercial transaction that will not have ADR. I wouldn't touch any contract without an ADR clause, for instance. I wouldn't. Because that is the soul of commercial transactions. Anybody in a commercial business wants to keep doing business. Yes, disputes arise, but we don't want the project. So imagine the project that may be of national interest is stalled because people are fighting it. But no, so, as commercial lawyers in our industry, when you're working on your documents, make sure that you preserve the relationship and also you preserve the project while you're settling whatever dispute that could arise. So, simply put, in my industry, we don't have that luxury of not having an alternative dispute resolution clause or option in our commercial dealings. Yes, is a short answer. I do, and it's sad for me to admit that because the whole essence of alternative dispute resolution is because traditionally it was conceived as cheaper and faster. However, with the trend we're seeing these days, it's becoming more as expensive and sometimes dragging. So this is an appeal for all ADR practitioners to let's have a rethink and look at how we are practicing ADR today and see how we can take it back to the traditional, easy, and less expensive route to dispute resolution. Of course, more awareness and more training, and also letting lawyers feel comfortable to having ADR as a first port of call. Even if you're happy appearing in the courtroom every now and then, think of the commercial part of your dispute, the relationship of the parties. We're not here to prove a point, we're here to preserve transactions, preserve relationships. And we can also make the process a whole lot easier. If you can have one arbitrator, why push for three? And if you must have three, why don't have a standardized fee that makes it easier for parties to afford? And can there be a time frame for arbitration to have been concluded? And when concluded, why do we also have to go back to court to start the whole process of enforcing or award, etc.? Let's make the process seamless and arbitration final in the real sense of it. I like that question because when you're proactive, you probably will not have that dispute. You know, I haven't had a lot of disputes in my career, commercial disputes, and I'm glad about that because everything starts with drafting. And as a commercial lawyer, earlier on in the interview, I mentioned something about being simple, say what you mean what you say. And in terms of being proactive, one of the things I like and I push for is be clear in what you're saying. And in your drafting, be clear. Can a 5-year-old pick up that contract and understand what it is that you're saying? I know for lawyers, sometimes we like verbosity, we like using big language. I really don't see the value if somebody has to go for interpretation to understand what it is you're trying to say. And think through the entire process. Even if it is that you're selling an orange, think through peeling it, selling it customer, with the person appreciating or not. So just walk through the entire project and don't just draft a document that you haven't tested. Ask the technical people, okay, how does this work at site? Don't just focus on the legalese and walk away. And that's all part of being proactive. Anticipate things, look at different aspects, look through the edges, look through any possible scenario. Play the devil's advocate even as you're working on your document. Ask what could go wrong, and if things go wrong, how would it be fixed? And make sure you have a clear dispute resolution clause that helps parties address the issues without losing their relationship. I want to be seen as that lawyer that is a strong business partner to clients, to your company, and solution driven. Um, I want to be seen as that lawyer who provided solution, who helped people achieve what they wanted to achieve, and who asked the right questions. So I want to be seen as that lawyer who helps you navigate your commercial issues to the point to get you to the point of growth, and also help provide solutions when you have those knotty issues to crack. Wow. Thank you very much, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Nigeria branch, and in particular the corporate and in-house council committee of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. I feel honored receiving this plaque, and it's really a pleasure being part of what you do. I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning, and I hope to continue in the path. And this is also me encouraging my fellow in-house lawyers to be part of what the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Nigeria is doing and the in-house counsel forum. Um, no man is an island, and the day we stop learning is probably the day we die. And in the course of our work, you can't do it alone. I like to say that we need a professional village to keep helping us along our career path. So this is one of my own professional village, and I thank particularly Dr. Nika Sean for dragging me into this. I'm definitely going to play a more active role in this, and hope to see you more. Thank you very much.